super excited. I have to tell you, when I was at, but isn't that how the best stories start? Like, I don't know how I ended up here, but let me just tell you what happened. I also was sitting there thinking, I grew up Catholic, and it would be really nice to incorporate wine into the beginning. So, but really, I sat and I got excited, and this is why. I thought about every time you feel nervous in your life, and you're like, maybe it's even something you want to do, but you feel that anxiety, you feel nervous. There's an adventure there. If you stay in that curiosity and you're willing to step forward out of your comfort zone, and you're willing to step into that place and space that scares the daylights out of you, you're opening yourself up to the most amazing experiences life has to offer. Love, kids, marriage, a new job, travel. There's so much to touch and see and experience here. And that's why we're here, right? To learn who we are. And through every experience and every opportunity you take, there's things you're learning along the way about yourself, about other people. And it never stops. The more curious, the more you're willing to say yes. Some of the very, the best stories of my life were the hardest transitions in my life, the hardest parts, the part that it got really tough to say, okay, I get this. And a lot of resistance sometimes. It's not easy to let go and say, all right, I'm just going to give this a go. And I have no idea where we're going to go, but it's going really fast and putting a smile on your face. And what I found is it's all about our mindset. When you decide it's going to be good, when you put a smile on, where are you coming from mentally? Are you excited about it? Because as soon as you say, oh man, this is going to be horrible. All the things that could go wrong, and they're going to laugh at me, and you stay in that mindset, it's not super enjoyable. And then afterwards you realize it wasn't so bad, but I missed the experience. It's like eating a great dinner way too fast, and you can't actually taste it and enjoy it and experience that, right? And it's the same thing with our mindset in life. So when you're posed with these opportunities, and that's what I mean, they're challenges, they're opportunities. Take your time to really sit and experience. Why do I feel like that? Why? Maybe there's a part of it that's exciting to you that you didn't even learn about yourself. Stepping into trusting ourselves to say, no matter how hard it gets, no matter what happens, I know that I'm going to get through it. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to figure it out. And there's in that courage and that bravery, there's strength that builds. There's fortitude. There's things that later you're going to teach other people, all because you're willing to say yes into a place you had no idea, where that really even was, right? So I'll share a little bit of something with you. I used to have this dream about a place called Imagine, and it was nothing more than a sensing. And at the time, I was pretty broken. I had went for it. I had lost my brother. My brother had passed in the spirit world. I was pretty broken, but that's like the best time to set the rest of your life on fire, right? Like, what do you have to lose? You at that point, I didn't feel like I could go any lower, but I started having this inspiration, this excitement, this dream place that I'd call Imagine. Imagine if there was a place people could just go and be, and land and farms. And I was seeing all these experiences, but it was giving me hope. It was this place, but it really wasn't. I think it was something inside of me that inspired me to go on to create, to get into something new, that there was something more. I couldn't see something more. All I could see was despair, anger, hurt, fear. I wasn't seeing that there was so much more to experience. So just this dream state, this idea that there was something more led me in this direction. 14 years later, and a lot of healing and a lot of development, I now live in a place that I dreamed about once upon a time. It was something that allowing myself, trusting myself, and growing within myself through really hard things like loss, like fears, like self-doubt, gave me a life that I could only imagine. And it's filled with people, and it's filled with experiences, but it all started with the hardest parts of my life, the worst stories that no one wants to tell, and no one wants to hear, no one wants to relive. That's where this amazing life starts, was through the hard things, through the willingness to say, you know what, I'm pretty broken, but I have that little belief, just that tiny spark, that there is something more, that there's a belief that there's something more to experience, there's something more to give. And then you start to breathe again, and start to move again, and start to really like see the little things you didn't see, like kids walk down your driveway every day, to the bus stop, and they, there's so many things we don't notice because we're on a mission. We're just going where we got to go. We're checking the box kind of routinely. And and I never realized lots of things. So I walk with my daughters down the driveway every day to school, and I notice them now. I stop and experience it with them and see, wow, there's flowers there. There's a frog there. There's a raccoon that lives like under this little gutter thing. I didn't even know because I'd forgotten to like stop and experience and enjoy and appreciate and be in the moment. So often we're so focused on what's coming next, what I have to do, will this work, all these questions and fear and, right? And it makes you stuck. But then when you start to move through and you start to take your time to be present and enjoy that, the answers are all right there. It's unfolding. You don't have to know the whole story. You don't have to know how you're going to get from here to there. That's a question I ask myself a lot. Well, how the heck am I going to make that happen? It doesn't have, you don't eat an elephant in one bite. It starts with maybe just a little nibble, right? Like that's a lot of elephant. I'm just saying. And I may have had COVID. I'm just saying. But you don't know how we're going to get from here to there. How did I get from losing everything in my most depressed state, now living on a historical state with my husband and my children and a fullness, and I'm teaching and I'm excited and I'm, how did you get from there? It took one day at a time, and it took a series of yes, release, relax, enjoy, appreciate, be present. Didn't happen overnight. And while I think that a lot of people, we look at each other and say, well, how did they get there? They don't, I love to hear people's adventures and stories and the hard things that got them there, because that's really where the magic lies, not what they're doing today, where they live, what they drive, their awesome body, because they did, that's a journey by itself, by the way. That says commitment all over it, and I'm working on that. Consistency and commitment. But I think the point is, this world has way more to offer than meets the eye. And I believe if you allow spirit, you allow this process, it's much bigger and fuller than you can ever imagine, right? And I'm sure we've all had that experience before. I don't know that I'll ever recover. I don't know that I'll ever be the same after X, like that defining moment before and after. How is there going to be life? And the truth is there is, it's just different. But you have to release and let go and allow, or you're never going to get out of that closet. You're never going to get out of that space, or it's going to be a very slow, painful process. I think a lot about it like this. When I was younger, I went to King's Dominion. You guys know what King's Dominion is, like a park with like roller coasters. And I'm so scared of roller coasters, but I was like determined. I was going to be brave for like my brother and everybody. I'm going to go on this roller coaster. And so I stand in line forever. And I'm so worried and I'm so afraid, but I want to do it. And so I hear click, 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 you're strapped in. You're like, great, now I'm really going to die. And my brother's like smiling. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I'm really just wanting to get off the roller coaster. All of a sudden I realize I have to go to the bathroom. It's been a 3-hour wait. Every anxiety is going through, like, is this thing gonna hold me in? I can't breathe. Am I breathing? Can I breathe? Are you seeing my breath? Like, is this working? Anybody die on this week? Like, you start to like look. You hear click, 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 click. And you're like, this is it. This is the end of my life. Why did I do this? All the fears, all the thoughts. You get to the top and you kind of hang, like, are you serious? Like, you can't just go. You're like hanging over that. Like, now I can just see what's going to happen in front of me, kind of, but yeah. And then you're holding on so tight that when it goes, it's an awesome ride, but you're so in like the fear of it, you forget to let go, have fun, and scream. And then you get the picture afterwards and you're like, you totally missed it. And you have to go back in line, wait another 3 hours to get on the ride and do it all over again. And you're like, why did I do this again? But the point of that is when you release and you allow, you were driven to that point. You were inspired to get on that roller coaster. That's an experience you wanted to have, yet you missed it because you lived in this space of not trusting. There's a reason roller coaster's there. It's probably been there for 50 years. It's probably reliable, not too many problems. Most times things work out, but we focus so hypersensitively on like, internally to say all things. It's not that special. I don't think I'm going to be the one in the news, but like, in 100 years, she's the one that died the roller coaster. I'm not that special. And I don't think any of you are either. Like, what I mean is most of the time, it's just about enjoying the process, enjoying that journey, allowing yourself to fully experience, and then to start telling your stories about your experience to other people so they can start to experience you and learn through you and with you. And it's pretty amazing. So I invite you into your own life, into your own self. And when you stop and you say, I don't know how I can do it. I'm not strong enough. I'm scared. I don't know how. Follow your inspiration because your soul knows where to go. Shut your eyes and look inside and just allow. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed. This life is so much bigger than you could ever imagine. Thank you so much for allowing me to say.